Okay, Tom, when were you born?
Huh?
When were you born?
February 26, 1922.
Oh, that's wonderful. And how old were you when you joined the U.S. Army?
21 years old.
And what did you do in Petersburg?
Huh?
What did you do in Petersburg?
Oh, I have to make the road into Petersburg from the CC came 26, 23, 26. Was out there, Chester County, and we cut trees and made roads and everything for the Army camp.
Well, when did they?
And what Army camp was that? What Army camp was that?
Camp Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And when were you shipped overseas?
I was shipped overseas in June. June 42.
June 1942.
Yeah.
So how long were you gone from home?
I was gone for the duration of the war.
So
from the time I left until the time I got back, I never seen home.
Yeah, how many?
And never got a furlough or nothing.
So how many years was that?
3 years.
3 years. So
Yeah.
you did not see your family for 3 years. You were in Europe. Wow. Now, you've told us stories about the Italians and that you liked the Italians.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about the Italians.
Well, ain't much to really tell about them, but outside of the Italians used to come there to camp and you could give them your clothes and they would take them, wash them and stuff like that and bring them back to you. And of course you give them whatever you wanted to and stuff like that.
And the Germans forced the Italians to fight.
Yeah.
But what did the Italians do to the Americans?
Well, the Italians give up. The Italians was fighting with the Germans. And doing Sicily, well, the Italians wanted to give up because they didn't want to kill a lot of Italians. And so the Italians give up. And then the Germans took a lot of the Italian boys on with them and made them fight with them. But I don't know. I guess they threatened them in all kind of ways, you know. But
well, were you scared of the Italians?
Ma'am?
Were you scared of the Italians?
Oh, no. No.
No.
I wasn't scared of them.
Yeah. Well, they were nice people, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you told us the story about being in the foxhole and not changing your socks.
Oh, I never changed my socks for 6 months.
What happened when you did change your socks?
Well, you pull the skin off your feet.
Ouch.
And wash them out in your helmet. You take your old steel helmet, wash out your socks and stuff. And you never got to change your clothes on the battlefield. You never wasn't such a thing.
How about when it rained?
Yeah.
How about when it rained? How long did you stay wet?
Oh, until you dried out.
So, days.
Unless you had a tent pitch, but there's a lot of places you couldn't pitch a tent. And if you pitched a tent, it was just a little shelter thing that 2 people crawled in. 2 people would stay in one shelter.
So you...
One had half a shelter and the other had half a shelter, and you put them together. And that's about the only way you stay dry.
What did you cover yourself with?
What did you cover yourself up with? How did you stay dry?
In the foxhole.
In the foxhole. How did you stay dry?
Well, you couldn't unless you covered up with that shelter I have.
Yeah.
That's the only way you stay dry.
Did you have a wool blanket?
And you used to have to dip the water out of your foxhole in the morning.
Yeah.
And water would come up in them, seep out of the ground, and a lot of times you sit down in there and your butt was all wet when you got up.
Did you cover up with anything?
But we had those old uniforms was made like pants, with the pants thing come up here, high bib like bib overalls that you wore.
Like waders, fishing waders.
And they was like they was like a shelter half over top of your pants, you know, and that keep a lot of water off. Just a raining down on you, the water just run off on you. Yeah.
What did you eat?
Well, we eat sea rations.
What were they?
Yeah. Beans and hash, called beans and hash, and a lot of times you would get a little can of what they call ham and eggs, would be about the size of a chip beef thing.
Like a tuna fish can? Like a tuna fish can?
Well, no, like a salmon can or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, okay.
like that,
Yeah.
It's only about that wide, and then you get 4 little crackers in the box, but the box was sealed up for water and sealed, and it wouldn't leak or get wet. And then you got 4 little crackers in there that you eat with it.
Wow.
I bet you missed your mother's home cooking.
Huh?
I bet you missed your mother's home cooking.
Oh yeah.
Were you hungry a lot?
No. You was too scared to get hungry.
Aw.
Well,
Now, how about sleeping? Did you sleep well?
no, you sleep in turns. You'd sleep so long, and then the other people would stay awake and sleep.
Ask him if he had anything to cover up with in the foxhole.
So, did you have a wool army blanket to cover up with in the foxhole?
Oh, we had an army blanket, a regular army blanket, and you had to carry that in your field pack.
How much did your field pack weigh?
Oh, I'd say 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And
how old were you when you were carrying around that field pack?
how what?
How old were you when you were carrying around that field pack?
Oh, I was about 22,
Yeah.
23. Yeah.
And now, name all the places that you were in Europe fighting the war. Where were you?
Well, start off with Sicily. Fought in Sicily 38 days. And then we went to Italy and made an invasion of Salerno. And went up to Cassina and crossed the Volturno River and all that. And
How did you cross the river?
swim. After you got out of the amphibious boat, you swam to the shore, and I'd say it was 50, 60 feet maybe or further. But when they stopped, they dropped that thing. They dropped like a big front of it. You've probably seen them in the boat, the amphibious boat. They just drop it down like a ramp, and you run off in it.
How many guys ran off of that with you? How many guys swam across that river with you?
Well, I guess it was my whole platoon.
How many are on a platoon?
About 45, 50 men.
Now,
Ask him about his Purple Heart.
Yeah. We're going to ask you about your Purple Hearts and your medals in just a minute, but you told us a story about one time they sent you and some guys out ahead of the tanks to rout out the enemy.
Oh, yeah.
How many men were sent out and how many returned?
About 5 men.
How many were sent out?
5 men and an officer.
Yeah. And how many of you came back?
Every one of them.
Every one of you came back.
We got cut off from the Americans, and we had to stay all night, and we stayed with the Italians in the barn, in their barns, and that's the way they kept. And then we waited until the Americans pushed the Germans back, and then we went back to our outfit.
Ah, that's good. All right, we're going to make a part 3, and you're going to tell us about your medals.